Good afternoon. I'm here to present the key to better communication, listening without predetermining the conclusion, by Stephen H. Burke, Liberty University, Hser 508 D01. Introduction, page 1. I've prepared a PowerPoint presentation for you to follow along with me. I will note each time the page needs to be advanced. Page 2. The purpose of this presentation is to identify the overarching goals for my life and to focus on an aspect that I can change and improve upon. To provide a description of how my background and behavioral styles have been influenced by my conversations. To discuss the barriers that hinder my communication and how to best deal with them. To identify and provide solutions for both positive and negative issues that keep me from communicating more effectively. And last, to develop a plan of action to improve my interpersonal skills that will help me become more effective as both a listener and a talker. Slide number 3. Listening is defined as taking in information from speakers or acknowledging the talker in a way that invites the communication to continue and providing limited but encouraging input to the talker's response, carrying the person's idea one step forward. Slide number 4. We communicate in 4 different ways. Listening is 40%, talking is 35%, reading is 16%, and writing is 9%. Slide number 5. 3 levels of listening. 1. Empathetic listening. We listen with an open mind. We pay attention to the talker. Number 2, we hear words. That's surface level listening at best, making little effort to understand. And 3rd, we listen in spurts. We turn them on, and we turn them off. Listening only so that we can respond appropriately. Slide number 6. How to develop listenings. In early childhood, the child learns if they cry, they get a response. They also learn to not talk because they're constantly being told to be quiet. We also give people strokes. We give the speaker recognition. We indicate that we've heard what they've said. Socialization, environmental influences our listening, how it develops. And filters, self-applied communication receptors. One understands based on their belief systems. Slide number 7. Identification, my overarching goal. Slide number 8. My overarching goal is listening without predetermining the conclusion. Stewart indicates that perception is an interpretive process. It is a look through a group of predetermined mindsets rather than an unbiased view. We listen, but we don't always hear what is being said as the talker intends it to be understood. 4 different things I want to mention here. Listening only to respond. We simply are waiting for the talker to finish so that we can inject our own story. Listening through a filter. Our answer is based upon many factors, our feelings, beliefs. Biased listening. The conversation is really not important to us, or the person brings no value to the conversation. And lastly, perceived listening. We hear and we assign values based on our own personal experiences. Slide number 9, influences, positive and negative. Understanding a person's personality pattern provides tools to best deal with those we interact with. Knowing what one's needs are, how they respond, and what they expect from others provides a sound basis for communication. My own personal behavior blend is a DISC, with inspiration being the leading factor. I tend to not listen well. I'm overconfident, controlling, and tend to take charge. Of the 3, not listening well is clearly the one point I need to improve upon. Noted in the movie Fireproof, Caleb Holt presented a very prevalent attitude in today's world. It's all about me. He focused on himself and not those he interacted with. Listening habits that I have developed in life are a combination of skills learned from others, my family, friends, leaders. Listening is not taught in school, thus is an acquired skill. Because of this, we may not always use the best possible skills. Slide 11, barriers dealing with them. Slide 12, a simple explanation of why I listen or do not listen, and too often determine the conclusion, is based on the flat brain syndrome by Peterson. It works kind of like this. The stomach, location for feelings. The heart, where we share with each other. The head, where we think. The flat brain syndrome occurs when 1, the stomach overreacts to stimulus, fear, etc., forces the heart to overreact, and thus 3, mashes the brain into a flat shape, impairing our ability to think or respond appropriately. Slide 13. The process does not stop there. When my brain goes flat, it also affects other body parts. For instance, my hearing. Due to the flat brain, my ears are mashed and I do not listen very well. Seeing, the flattening of the brain causes my eyes to bulge, thus distorting my vision. And lastly, my mouth. The flattening of the brain gives the mouth more room to expand and even more room to work freely. But note, however, that the mouth is connected to a defective brain. Slide 14. In my own realm of business, healthcare, it has been noted by nursing healthcare professionals that listening adds as a quality of good communication and one method of demonstrating caring to the patients. Also, it's been noted that effective communication and listening between the practitioner, the doctor, the nurse, whoever, and the patient can bear directly on the quality and the therapeutic benefit of the medical encounter. Thus, listening or lack of quality listening appears to cross all levels of communication and people's groups uniformly. Slide 15, my solutions. Slide 16, steps that will improve my listening skills and thus avoid premature conclusions. I've listed 4. First of all, mindful listening. Being mindful of the conversation will better connect me with the talker, rather than allowing mindlessness to disconnect. Mindful listening improves the listening experience for all. Being open to other people. Learn to be open with other people and to open to other people. The inhaling process or perception. The selection. Deciding what influences me. Organizing. Putting all that information together based on previous experiences. And then last, inferring. Using my worldview to make my judgments. And then lastly, the talker-listener card. Utilize the TLC method of having conversations, respecting the talker-listener rules. Talker, share my sentiment and view without negative influence. And then the listener, provide a safe environment without disagreement. My action plan for improving listening skills, slide 17. On slide 18, I list 4 steps. 1, practice sessions with individuals to understand my OAG of listening without a predetermination of the conclusion, and they be willing to provide constructive feedback. Number 2, daily journal my conversations with those I come in contact with, giving me an opportunity to review my accomplishments and understand my shortcomings. Number 3, teach the Why Don't You Listen Better, Communicating, Connecting, and Relationships book in a lunch and learn session to my leadership team, thus using my new skills to teach and helping them understand the role of the talker-listener. And finally, include my annual reading curriculum, listening the following skill, providing me with a refresher course on the importance of sharpening my own listening skills constantly. Thanks for listening. I hope you've learned, as I have in the last 8 weeks, how important listening is. Wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. Thank you.